Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Vinci is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace. He has a really interesting conversation this evening topic to talk about the summertime and what goes on in the summertime, sometimes not so good. And he's going to talk to us about some issues along that line. Lately, we've been taking 10 or 15 seconds to be grateful. So think of three things that you are grateful for today, that happened today that you're grateful for. Go. You can't be unhappy when you're grateful. So being grateful is one of the finest things you can do. It, as I mentioned, lately I've been doing it 2, 3 times a day, and I recommend it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. I wanted to, in this session, and maybe the next one, go over some of the myths of hiring. These are myths that I've collected over the years that hiring authorities have a tendency to believe that are not necessarily true. And you'll identify with these if you're a hiring authority. You'll certainly identify with these if you're interviewing and interviewing cycles with lots of employers. The first one is, we're really good at hiring. Numerous studies and statistical studies show that without the use of a recruiter, the interviewing process for most companies is 57% effective in predicting subsequent employee success. 57%. What's that say? That says that it's only 7% better than flipping a coin. Most people don't really know how to hire very well. What's worse is they don't admit it. They like to think that they're really good at it. Most of us are not very good at hiring. The secret to being not very good at hiring is not so much not being very good at hiring, but when you make a mistake in hiring, make sure you get rid of it very quickly. That's the mistake most people make. They don't want to admit they made a mistake in hiring. So they see it sometimes real quickly, but because they don't want to admit they made a mistake, they hang on and hang on and hang on to it. And they know they made a mistake. And they're 6 or 7 months into it. And they say, I know I made a mistake in this hiring. We made a mistake in this hiring. Let's rectify it now. And then they say to themselves, and they say to others in the organization, I should have done that earlier. Look, years ago, I had an employer that I worked with. This was in Fort Worth, Texas. This guy had the largest Liberty Mutual agency in the country. He was paying, this was back in 1974. They were paying $450 a month draw to salespeople. He was known for the #1 Liberty Mutual insurance agency in the country. He had maybe 100 agents, and he was known for having the best agency in the country, the best employees, and the best of everything. And you asked him what his secret was, and his response was, I don't hire anybody any differently than my peers around the country. I hire what I think best. But the thing is, I get rid of them more quickly if I've come to the conclusion that I've made a mistake. I placed a young fellow with him one day, kid showed up Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and by noon, the hiring authority had fired him. His attitude was, I fire him when I first get the inkling. He got the inkling that the kid wasn't going to work out, so he fired him. He fired him when he first got the inkling. Now, I don't know that it's wise to be that quick, but it's wiser to be that quick than it is any other. We don't want to admit when we make a mistake in hiring. And that's the biggest mistake that most of us make. And so we tell ourselves that we're really good at hiring because we like to think that we are. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Maybe our process is good, maybe it's not. But we have to look at the fact that our process may be good and it may not be good. And we need to quit telling ourselves that we are really good at hiring. We must be able to tell ourselves that we're reasonable at hiring and build a process that is reasonably good at detecting good hires. And then when we come to the conclusion that we have made a mistake, get rid of the mistake as soon as possible. You can do it gently and you can do it nicely. It doesn't have to be obnoxious, but it has to be quick. People respect it. Most of the time when you made a mistake in hiring, the people that are with you, around you, know more than you know first that you made a mistake in hiring, probably before you do. They see it realistically. They know it before you admit it. But if you have made a mistake, do get rid of it. But quit telling yourself that you're really good at hiring. In fact, it's better to tell yourself that you're average at hiring, that you're going to do your best at hiring and do it and work on it that way. But quit telling yourself you're really good at it. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashir with the Job Search Solution.